Hey everyone, or whoever's listening. Um, thank you for watching my video. First of all, thank you for clicking. I wanted to react to this Marvin Sapp interview on the Ricky Smiley Show. Now, for those of you who don't know, Marvin Sapp he's a famous singer who made the song or sang the song Never Would Have Made It. He recently fell into some controversy when he told this congregation of people that they were not, he didn't say it this way. He's basically insinuated that they were not allowed to leave until they gave a certain amount. What was it, $40,000 towards this church or organization that he was in at the time. And so he was in controversy for that. And now he's on this interview trying to clear the air. But of course, it's going to involve gaslighting and no humility, claiming to be a man of God, but can't find a way to apologize for what you said and did. And that's what I want to react to. And I want to kind of get into what it looks like to gaslight people into believing that they were actually in the wrong when it was you. So I'm going to play this 18-minute video and let's see what he has to say.
Morning show, 25 minutes after the hour, y'all. Our next guest has been all over the internet lately, and he's here with us today to set the record straight. He's an award-winning singer, bishop, and pastor of the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth, Texas. Joining us this morning is a friend of the show, Marvin Sapp. And good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you. And listen, let me say this. I'm not here to exploit the situation. You are my friend.
Problem number one. You're his friend. So he's not going to ask the hard questions. In a minute, you're going to see how this is not really an interview. It's Marvin Sapp just giving his spiel on why he didn't do anything wrong. There's going to be no pushback. So let's see why it's not really the greatest idea to have a friend do an interview on a controversial subject.
And I'm a real friend. I'm a loyal friend. You understand? And I haven't even talked to you this week. Because I know your phone was blowing up, but I had sense enough that everything that you sat here and said during the commercial break, I already knew. You don't have to explain that to me. I grew up in the church in your own way. In your own way. Let's start with the attacks that are on you and the
Let me speed this up if I can.
Your family. Well, let me
because what? See how this interview already started off wrong? He's not even going to start with what even happened during this controversy, like what caused all of this. He's going to start with the death threat. So we're already in a position where the audience is wrong, right? We're already in a position to make him the victim, which is problematic for me.
Just whatever way you want to start.
Let me just start by saying first, Ricky, I thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on your show and for you to use your platform to give me a chance to just, add some context, and clarity to, a clip that, a whole lot of people have seen. Sadly, one of the things that has happened is, people have created a narrative that is absolutely not true. Number one, the narrative was created, excuse me, that I raised the money at my church.
Irrelevant. None of that even matters. That it was at his church or at somebody else's church.
That I kept the people at my church hostage until I raised $40,000 for me. That's the narrative that has been shared. That locked folks up at my church. That I made them give $40,000 and I wouldn't allow them to leave until they
you
gave
did.
It to me. And to be honest with you, that is absolutely false.
Yeah.
Number one, that offering was taken last year.
It doesn't matter when you did it. People always try to use time to justify something that they did. Oh, well, we got into that argument 5 years ago, or I stole that money 5 years ago. You should be over it now. It doesn't matter how long the crime or the controversy or whatever happened. It doesn't matter how long ago it took place. Did you rectify the situation is the question. And he didn't until it resurfaced. And it people always think that, oh, this happened a long time ago, or time will erase the consequences of what I've done. And that's not the case. Especially when you're dealing with God. A lot of things don't have immediate outward consequences. And that's what he failed to realize.
This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's international meeting where
Okay.
churches from all over the country, all over the world came together.
Makes it even worse because you're telling me you did all this to people that weren't even your congregation. You didn't even know these people. These people were coming and probably paying. Well, according to him, yes, they did have to pay, paying to be there. Um, and you did this to them. You did this to a bunch of people that weren't even your body of people.
For the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. People took issue with me saying, shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors.
Nobody said, nobody, everybody watched that clip, and nobody's saying he said lock the doors. We heard what you said. Shut the doors. This is all irrelevant. Shut the door, lock the door. It's all pointing to the same demand that these people are not to leave until they've given a certain amount.
Yeah, I said shut the doors. Shutting doors mean that people still have the ability to go in and
They got
out.
CNN on.
They've taken issue with my tone, and I can honestly
Yeah.
say, looking at the video, maybe I was a little more assertive.
And you see how he wants to address the easiest thing to address, which is your tone. How I said it was wrong. But honestly, he still stands by what he said. It is not, there's no apology in what he's saying. He's okay with you being upset at his tone, but he stands by what he said and what he did.
Than I should have been, and I can apologize for that. I can
Right,
apologize
because
for
it's
three
easy
things I need
to.
to make sure people understood. Number one, the $40,000, if it was $40,000 that was raised, was never given to me. That money was raised for the purpose
Congratulations.
of taking care of the budget for their conference, not Marvin Sapp.
Irrelevant. Doesn't matter whether it was for him directly. Nobody thinks that $40,000 went into his pocket. I mean, that would just be completely immoral. But it's so he's tackling these points that are like small and insignificant. Oh, my tone was wrong, or oh, this 40,000 wasn't for me, and I never said lock the door. Like all of these points that do not negate the overall problem.
Number two, it didn't happen at my church. It happened in Baltimore. Number three, you know, people take issue with me being firm with the ushers. Anybody that goes to church, ushers one-on-one, that's the first thing they teach you as being an usher, is that there are 3 times you don't walk. You don't walk during the altar call. You don't walk during prayer. You don't walk during the offering. One of the reasons being is
Okay.
because of the sacredness of the moment. But it's also about security. As a pastor, we understand and
Security.
we know that churches are being robbed at gunpoint. It's happening.
This is not about, this has nothing to do with what he said in that moment. There is no relation to what he said in that moment. Close the doors, close the doors, close the doors. We all leaving at the same time. There is no relation to him saying that and a security issue. If anything, he caused a security issue. That's a fire hazard.
All over the country. This is not something I'm making up. This is factual. So if you got 5,000 people in the room, you want the doors closed. You don't want the doors locked. I couldn't get them locked anyway. It's a convention.
Look, he tried. he said, I tried. Trust me.
The doors needed to be closed, and there was a lot of pandemonium stuff that was going on out there. But I wanted to share that first. But that ain't even the reason why I'm here. Here's the reason why I'm here.
Why?
The reason why I'm here is because what has happened is people have taken clickbait
Uh-oh.
and made
Clickbait.
something out of it that it isn't.
Where's the clickbait, though? You said close the doors. Y'all need to give X amount of money, which is a direct violation of scripture because you're given under compulsion, which is not what the Bible teaches. So where is the clickbait? What did we say that was wrong that actually didn't happen?
And because of that, my church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed
Oh
me out.
no.
My staff are afraid because I've received death threats.
Any amount of fame, you get this type of reaction from people. Like death threats. People, you want me to believe that people were calling up your church and calling you up and threatening to kill you, and this was happening so often that you had to mention it? I just don't believe that. I think he's being disingenuous. I think that probably happened once or twice, and mind you, it's wrong if anybody's doing that. That's given though. That's information you already know, that people should not be sending death threats to this man for that. This did not happen to the point where he has to come on here and make this spiel or this speech, because if it did, why aren't the police involved?
Over $20 and shut the door. People have come to our campus.
Over
They have
$20
come
and
to our
shut the
church
door.
to try to cause problems, issues,
He does
challenges.
not see that
And
what he
again,
did was wrong.
my children, I don't look at comments. We've talked about this. I don't read comments. When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just don't have it.
And I want you to listen to the low key flex that he's constantly doing in this video. When you have millions of followers, you're not looking at the comments. He's going to do this multiple times throughout the video. He's going to flex on all the things he has and why he doesn't need your money and why he doesn't have time to read any of this hate. So just pay attention to that.
Right. My children do. And they are afraid. And the reason being is because I'm their only parent. I'm a widower. They're afraid for my safety. So now we've had to update and increase security and all the things I've never had to do before because of the
Sure.
vitriol and the anger that people have shown, the things that they've said in my thread and stuff.
This is no longer, at this point, this is no longer about clearing the air for what he did. This is about how bad we are, how we should not have reacted to what he did the way we did. This is a reprimand on the audience.
And all of this is because of a misunderstanding. And I'm not blaming people.
You are. You just did.
Because of their misunderstanding. I'm just saying, in all you're getting, get an understanding. And if I'm sharing with you that the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know. I'm hoping that I actually raised more money so that I can help the organization that has been such a great support to me.
We know.
Again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a dime of that money came to me. Not a dime of it.
And where did your money come from?
So they pay, first of all, these organizations, they pay speakers and preachers like him to come to their organization to help them raise money. So the idea that he's not getting any of this, I think, is inherently false. Like, no, did he get the $40,000? No, obviously he didn't get the $40,000, but he did benefit in some way from being there, which is why he went on that spiel, which is why he said, and there's not anything wrong with an organization, a religious organization, trying to collect money. But he is in violation of scripture with the way he tried to collect that money. That's what he's not addressing. Just to be clear, well, the reason why I'm making this video.
I've been blessed. I've been extremely blessed. I've sold millions of records.
Here we go.
I'm a songwriter.
How much have you gotten paid from? And we on radio live.
Right.
How much have you gotten paid from your church? I'm just saying.
Okay, so
tell me what you said.
I'm gonna tell you. What people don't know is that I pastored 16 years in the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I founded my church. I pastored 16 years. We had a great church. Still have a great church there. 16 years of pastoring. I never got paid a dime. That's a fact. 16 years. You can call the church. You can ask them. I pastored the Lighthouse for Life Center Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan for free for 16 years. 9 years of those 16 years, I gave a minimum of $30,000 a month to my church. 30 grand a month to my church to ensure that the church.
Okay.
We had a lot of stuff. I had a college.
He did this for free because he was making money elsewhere, like a lot of money elsewhere. That's why he did it for quote unquote free. I mean, why would you be getting paid from a church that almost has nothing when you're making millions a year? That wouldn't make sense, right? So this is irrelevant.
College campus that we had bought. We had 3 other campuses, and my membership had dwindled after my wife had passed because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids.
Right.
So, my membership, it dwindled.
I don't know if I understand that, but okay.
And as a matter of fact, this is factual. The day I announced the new pastor, I burned the mortgage of the church. When I left Grand Rapids, I left my church not only debt free, but I left them with 6 figures in the bank and put a brand new pastor in and walked away and moved to Texas. I'm not walking
What is
around
this
here trying to be a
proving?
pimp. I'm not trying to take advantage of people. That's never been my passion. I'm serious about ministry. And let me go one step further.
Look, I don't think he's intentionally trying to rob people of their money. I think maybe it was so natural to him to do and behave that way that he did not realize he feels justified in what he did because it's so natural for him to be that way.
Further. There's a whole lot of other pastors around here that are doing the same thing.
Doesn't
Most
make it
pastors in
okay.
America are bivocational, meaning they have jobs outside of their churches. The average church size in America is only 75 people. Look it up. It's factual. So we're not getting
What does
rich
this
off the
have to
church.
do with
I
the
am
point?
bivocational. I'm a W-2 employee at my church. I have a syndicated radio show that I do every week to over 60 different markets. I own real estate.
Here we go
I have
flexing
mutual
again.
funds. I
I
have
have
a
this, I have
business.
that, I have this, I have that. I don't need your money. None of this makes a point. We know you didn't literally take $40,000.
I have
I have this.
stocks. I play the market. I took my money and I didn't
And
choose
just
it.
because you have all those things doesn't mean you still can't be greedy. I mean, you can have $1 million in the bank and still want more and more. Like people have to maintain all of that. So this does not negate being greedy. Not saying that he's greedy, but just because you have a lot of things doesn't mean I have all these things, therefore I'm not greedy. How does that work?
That you made from
Money that
your
I made
hit
from music,
records.
from hit records. I'm one of the only gospel artists with billions of streams.
Congrats.
And I
Like,
tour. I got people all
no
over the church on
relevance.
tour.
This has no relevance to the point. I need that to be understood.
That I made tons of money on. And I'm at the crib right now chilling because I don't have to go on tour. I can wait and do my next day.
But basically, you saying all that to say you don't need no $40,000.
Yeah,
I don't.
speed this up.
And I will take it if they're gonna give it to me. But I did not raise this money for the premise and purpose.
And that was a program that helped you get to
Right.
where you
They
are.
gave me a platform. This organization is an organization I grew up in.
Right,
It's a
which
church
is why you
organization,
wanted to
corporate.
give
And
back and make sure they
I'm
got
preaching. The reason why I want to
40,000.
bring up the organization because it ain't none of y'all business. But the point is
It's
these
not.
people
Why is it so
gave me a
secretive?
platform, man. And the reason why I'm known today is because of the opportunities that this organization gave me. So for me to go back and be able to preach and raise
Give back.
finances and give back to them so that they don't have to go in debt. Listen,
Hold on. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, y'all. 25 before the top of the hour, y'all. We're talking to Marvin Sapp. More Marvin Sapp up next. Rick Smiley Morning Show.
I was just saying that, I think one of the most devastating things about this whole situation and circumstance is that, you know, I'm literally praying for all of those who have actually spread it.
And this is
The
so annoying. I hate when people who claim to be religious do this. When they're in the wrong and they're trying to flip the situation, I'm praying for you. You're not praying for all these people. Come on, be for real. You just went on this whole lecture about why we're wrong and how you have all this money and all these assets and you don't need our money. He has no humility whatsoever. There's no humility in this man. You're praying for us. We didn't do anything wrong. You did. Pray for
divine.
you.
And the
And
reason is
that's
because
real.
I don't think people really understand that when you do things like this, the effect that it
Do
has.
things like
Like if I was a weak
what?
guy, if I was a very weak person, all of
Repost
the
your
things
video.
that people have said in my comments and stuff like that, that my members of my church have read, that my children have read, people commit suicide and stuff like this.
Sure.
Here
From
we
this type of
go. Now
attack.
the suicide. They love bringing up suicide. People, this is just like what Jussie Smollett did. You do something wrong, people react to it, and they are now in the hot seat. Hey, people can commit suicide on stuff like this. Like, if I die or if something happens to me, this is gonna be y'all's fault. This is just so evil. It's so evil, and it's gaslighting 101. And I can't stand when people do it. Bring up suicide as a form of manipulation.
And I know for a fact that there are some individuals that really don't have a clear understanding of the systems of the church. But then I know that there are some
You
individuals
can't
that listen
handle
to
a
me as I
meme.
speak that have been church hurt, and that's the reason why they have a certain level of vitriol and bitterness as it pertains to the church.
I don't have
This
church
particular
hurt. I
situation
can
for
see
me
what
is
you're
a
doing is
church
wrong.
hurting situation because I did something for the church, but I'm taking abuse because of it. And that's what church hurt is all about. And as I I just want people to really understand that this is something
Hmm?
that we shouldn't do. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you check out everything first. Make sure that you examine the information
Narcissism.
with clarity and context
I'm
before you
not
begin
wrong.
to
It's
share it.
you.
It's sad. Um,
I know. I'll pray for
I was
you.
labeled as a pulpit pimp. Honestly, let me be right with Rick. Some of this stuff is funny. They got this one
Is
meme
it funny
that
because
I
you
was
just got
laughing was
through
going on
talking
with
about
the Teddy
how
Pendergrass
people commit suicide over
photo,
this?
and it got at the bottom of my face. They closed the door. It's hilarious. I'm just telling you.
The memes are really funny.
Yeah. But let me go one step further. You, everybody ain't able to handle that, and you all have to really, really be cognizant of it. You got to think about before
I
you
ain't
do
able to
something.
handle what? A meme? This is the internet. This is the internet. You're not going to get on the internet and lecture the internet about how they should behave. That's just how it goes. Don't post things on the internet if you can't handle it. That's just the truth. And this goes for anybody, not just people in the church. This just goes for anybody who puts something on the internet, even myself. If you cannot handle the backlash or the criticism or the unwarranted hate, just don't do it because the internet will do that. That's what you have to be okay with that.
Before you slander, before you
Slander.
go in people's
What
comments
did
and
we
say
say that happened that didn't happen?
vile and this vitriol stuff. Make sure you know for a fact what it is that they've done. Now, if I was had babies all over the country, if I was, stealing money, if you found out that I was actually stealing money,
People think that, oh, okay, I'm sorry I keep
being dragged.
pausing, but I have to.
But that's not what
People think you have to do the most outrageous or outlandish thing to receive criticism. You can make minor errors and receive criticism. Not that what he did was a minor error. I think that what he did was wrong. Not minor, but oh, it's not like I killed somebody. It's not. It's not like I stole from a baby. Like you do realize, and people do this a lot. Like they make Hitler the extreme, and then there's Mother Teresa, and it's like you can only be Hitler and receive criticism, and it's like you can be in the middle and receive criticism. You don't have to be the worst person in the world. This is another element of gaslighting that I'm talking about that he's doing here, trying to make it seem like he doesn't deserve criticism because he doesn't live a life of delinquency and crime. I guess this is ridiculous.
what I done, and that's not what I did. The only thing I did was honor the leadership of our church's organization when they asked me to take up an offering. I tried to raise $40,000 for the organization, not for me personally.
The
Money
second
that I make,
offering,
I
mind
write
you,
songs.
this was
I
the
earn
second
business.
offering.
I have multiple streams of income. I have been good with the money and a good steward of the finances that God has given me. So
you don't have to explain.
at 58
With
years
his
of age,
Burberry
at
shirt
58
on.
years of age, if I don't drive a certain kind of car, there's a problem. That means
What?
I tricked
Hold
off
on, hear that again.
years of age, if steward over the finances that God has given me. So at
You don't
58
have to explain.
at 58 years of age, if I don't drive a certain kind of car, there's a problem.
What? This is a preacher. This is a man of God, so to speak, talking about that. I need to drive a certain kind of car at 58. And he just got off this speech about how he doesn't need the money and how he's not greedy. I have to drive a certain kind of car at 58. I want see if you can find that mentality in the Bible. I want you to see if you can find a mentality like that from the apostles or the disciples. See if you can find one of them saying, "I got to have this. I got to have that because I'm this age and I've been in this too long to not have my own house." Don't we see many of the apostles not having a home, not having shoes, not having a place to lay their head? Where was John the Baptist? But today's men of God, at 58, they apparently have to have a certain type of car. And this is what I'm talking about. This man, he's double speaking. He doesn't even realize it. It's so natural to him.
That means I tricked off my money. I'm busy.
But you worked hard for it.
I work and still work hard.
And on tour and getting on planes. And
Absolutely.
going
Planes, trains, automobiles,
yes, sir.
hotels, motels,
and
holidays.
rehearsals, and
I'm telling you,
singing, and preaching on Sundays,
doing all
and rehearsals, and writing the song. And
Look at Ricky Smiley. Some interview this he is not pushed back at all. Like how you gonna come in an interview already agreeing with the person? He's like the worst interviewer. You should be neutral. You should be in the middle. You should push back a little bit. You should say, what about this? Okay. You shouldn't come into an interview with an already preconceived notion of who this person is, but see, they're friends. So he's already on his side. He's not going to give any pushback.
Was an hours in the studio. Yeah, you worked hard for that.
And
what was your number one hits?
My number one hit was Never Would Have Made It.
Never Would Have Made It.
48 weeks at number one.
Yeah,
48 weeks at number one.
None of this
When it
has
first came
anything
out,
to do
I
with the
sold
point.
4 million ringbacks and ringtones.
Come on, man.
4 million.
And I want this to be clear. This has nothing to do with um, hate for rich people or wealthy people. If you earned your wealth in a wholesome way, and rightful way, there's nothing wrong with being rich. It's the love of money and the greed that kills people. That is the sin.
Yeah. Y'all do the math. Y'all do the math. Who do you know that can work a job for 16 years and don't get paid?
You were making money elsewhere, so let's not make it seem like you were just working for 16 years and not getting any money. What man would do that? That's not even common sense.
$1,000 a month to a church for 9 years. Do the math. Do the math.
Do the math.
And walk away from it. This ain't about $40,000. I don't know what it's about.
Hey,
but I
Mark,
want to be clear.
It's not about $40,000.
you've done a fantastic job of explaining.
You made it about
Because
$40,000.
I'd have been going on.
No. You've done a fantastic job of explaining yourself. It brings
Ricky
to
Smiley,
mind,
you better than me
saying
because I would have been
that,
going off. You're a friend. Okay.
Why run with the truth when the lie is way more entertaining?
Absolutely.
You know?
What was the lie though? That he did it at his church while you were, and this is what I'm just so lost at this. What was the lie that, oh, they said I did it at my church and I didn't? Wow, you really told us.
In this case, and I respect pastors who actually do the good work like you're talking about, but I think it's become real popular over the last few years for people to attack people in your position. It started with the whole, Creflo Dollar and thing.
Please,
it became real fashionable.
What?
But our people who are
Really, you want to bring up
you really
Creflo
need to
Dollar?
examine your own life. If you are making death threats and typing out violent kind of things like that over this situation, you really need to sit back and think about where you are in life. That says a lot about you. That's
I want to say this to you, man. God just put this on my heart.
Of course you
know, in
did.
ministry and you, I just love God, and I do a praise break on the show every morning. Remember what all y'all pastors taught us, that all of this is only a test.
Oh, Doc, I believe in it. And let me close. I can close by saying
A test? If you really thought it was a test, why would you come on here and reprimand everybody?
I'm driving down the road, and honestly, the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, Marvin, this is going to be a teachable moment.
Okay, I want to get into another point, a very important point as well. People claiming, a lot of these pastors claiming that God spoke to them. Now he's going to go on another speech about hearing the voice of God, which is blasphemous because God did not actually speak this to him, but he's going to tell you that God spoke to me and told me this. So
taught us that all of this is only a test.
Oh, Doc, I believe in it. And let me close. I can close by saying this. I'm driving down the road, and honestly, the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, Marvin, this is going to be a teachable moment. And I said, okay, God, but what are you trying to teach me?
Notice him and God are having a back and forth conversation now. So that's very interesting.
He said, well, I'm trying to teach you exactly what you've been singing for years. That after this, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be wiser.
Come on.
You're going to be better. You're going to be so much better. And I want my church to know that, I stand in integrity and that I'm here to protect the integrity of our church, the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth. And while I'm here, I might as well invite all of y'all to come to the University of Texas, Arlington, and be with me on Easter Sunday, because we're going to give God a crazy.
That's weird to do and say after you said people just threatened your life. You would invite a bunch of people to come after you said it was a safety issue. That's a very strange thing to do.
We're going to magnify him. We're going to glorify him at 11 a.m. In Fort Worth.
In the midst of all of this, you can still find room to bring people close. To take this opportunity to use this situation to bring people closer to God. That says a lot about you.
It's not about.
You think
one of
this
the things I've learned
is bringing people closer?
And one of my members asked me this yesterday. She was like, I don't understand how you can take this and keep smiling and preaching, and you kind of.
He don't have a choice.
And I had to tell them, I learned.
This is how he makes his living.
You a grace for certain situations in life, and this is one of the situations that I've been graced.
This is not even a big. It's not a big of a deal as he's making it. I think if he had just come on here and said, "Hey, you guys, I apologize for what I did. I don't think it's okay that you guys are sending me death threats," but I do apologize for what I did. I don't like that it was taken the wrong way. I thought what I did was okay, but I'm going to take this time to reflect, and take some counsel with my elders and study my Bible. Um, and I really apologize for what happened and what I did. You would have been done. He's not done any of that.
So, at the end of the day, I'm not angry at anyone. I'm not upset.
You sounded pretty
I
angry.
understand, people, and I'm gonna say this: no matter what I say, there are some people that have already made up their minds what they feel
That's
about
true.
Marvin Sapp, and they, no matter what I say, they're gonna be like, well, he said this and he did that, and da 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 da. Da. So those aren't the individuals that I'm trying to convince. The
Who are you trying to
individuals that I'm
convince?
speaking to are those who may find themselves in this situation. And my prayer, and I promise you, I'm closing with this. Preachers always close 4 times anyway. But my prayer
Yeah, y'all sure.
that if you find yourself in this situation,
They sure
that the
did.
grace that you didn't show me, that you still receive.
Wow. And this is another element of gaslighting. I hope that when you're in my situation, um, that nobody treats you how you treated me, even though I was in the wrong. I hope nobody does you like this. What?
My prayer is that the mercy that I did not receive, that you receive.
Marvin, you received mercy. You're still under mercy. As long as you still are alive and breathing, you still have mercy. And that goes for all of us actually. So this idea that you've been attacked to this point of no return is silly to me. When all people have done is make memes because of something you did wrong.
And I
Just a
promise you, I've been
gaslighter.
praying all week long, say, Lord, just don't let them have to go
I
through what
pray
I
for
went through.
them.
And the
I
reason
pray
being
for
is
them,
because
Lord. I did
I
nothing
know
wrong.
they possess the ability to handle it.
Wow.
And I'm grateful that I do have a greater one on the inside of me that gives
The
me the ability to
narcissism.
stand in the midst of difficult situations.
Look at me. I'm so strong. I have the strength to get through this. Nobody else. I hope they have the same strength to get through this that I did. I pray that you guys never have to go through what I did, even though what I did was wrong. What? This is the narcissism in this man. He has no humility, no no sense of self-reflection in him. And of course, Ricky Smiley didn't assist in any of this interview. I guess it's an interview, but this is really not an interview. I don't know why. It's not even titled interview, so maybe it's really not that. Maybe it was really just a soapbox for Marvin Sapp. But that's pretty much the interview. I was watching this in like amazement the other day. Just like, wow, this man really thinks what he did was okay, and it's everybody else who's crazy. This is crazy. These are the people you can't correct. Like, where are the elders around him telling him, hey, I mean, they all have the same mentality. So I don't imagine that there's a lot of self reflection or reflection at all happening. But this is the level of narcissism and gaslighting that I observed yesterday watching this. And I was really like, wow, this man is not going to change. And he would probably do it again if it hadn't blown up the way it did. So that's the interview. That was the video, I should say, on Ricky Smiley's show of Marvin Sapp clearing the air about the donation controversy. Um, Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my rant. And I hope you enjoy your day. Bye.